So in the last class we have covered that how actually we can open up different browsers, what are the prerequisites of it. So just go through the video, you'll understand everything that is there. If you find any kind of issues, just let me know in the class. I'll tell you what the solution for that is. Now moving further is, let me just rename it. Right. Now today we are going to work on a framework, a different framework which we are going to use ahead as well. I'll just will make the package and then I'll show you. Yeah. So the package that I'm talking about, which we are going to cover today, is a package specially made for the test cases. Okay, the test cases, the test scripts we write to automate the browser, to have them in a manageable way, and at a time we need something that we need to run them in batch, run them in serial execution or in parallel execution. We need those test cases to be differentiated out of our single scripts, right? We also do some things like we generally write a script and we run it, then we think of converting it into a test case, and something we need to differentiate between these two things, right? Now right now on the screen you will see a module, that is the browsers module, on which there is the command given to open up the Edge and the Internet Explorer and navigate on some of the URLs, and after that to quit the particular browser that is open, right? Now the same thing I can do in a framework as well. What that framework is? PyTest. Now for PyTest, to start with PyTest, first of all we need to get that into our system. Right, we need to get that into our system. So to get that in our system, there is a very simple command that we need to proceed further with. If I'll just search it on Google, I'll say install PyTest. Right, so this command is the command that you will have to fire on your command prompt. Pip install pytest. You don't have to specify any kind of version, because automatically the pip manager takes the recent version which is stable, right? So you need not to provide any version until unless you want to work with the previous version. You don't require to give any kind of version. Fine, so you just need to go on your command prompt, just look for here and give the command pip install pytest. That's it. Once you enter this, it will start collecting all the requirements and dependencies, and your PyTest will be installed into your system. Once it's done, then we can move on making a test case. Now to make a test case, there are some of the rules that we need to follow. Now when I say rules, they are to be followed, otherwise your test case is not going to react as it has to. Okay, so what those rules are? So let me just make one module over here and I'll name it as Python test case, let's say. Now it's an advice to don't name any of your module or any of the package as the existing library name, otherwise you may get unusual errors. So just try to avoid giving the same names. I'm just giving it, I'll later on will remove this file as well. Okay, it's not a text file. Just wait. New Python file. Test file. Okay. Now talking about the rules. There are three different rules. They are the naming conventions that I need to follow. First of all, the first thing is that as many as test cases I have, they should all be in a single package, so that when you are running it in batch, you don't have to find it in whole project. Just find it in the same package. Fine. So the package name, the package that you're going to make, should start with the name test. It should start with the name test. Ahead it you can suffix anything, you can just add on anything that you want, but it should start with test. The same way is the second convention when you are making a class. The test class sometimes is required, so the class is also to be prefixed with the keyword test with a capital T. Like for example, if you want to make a class, a test class, then you would say class test demo. Right, so this way your class name will be given. Third rule is to name the function. Now test cases are not something very different from normal functions. They are just the normal functions. They are created by the syntax def and the name of the test case. So def keyword is used to make a function. So here I'd make a test case, so it will be a test case creation. What's the difference between creating a function and a test case? Is the keyword test. Ahead the name of the test case, you need to prefix test underscore. Right, you need to prefix, sorry, test underscore. Fine. Example, I'll say I have a function def test demo, this way. Right, these three rules you need to follow. Keep them in mind and you will be good to go afterwards. Fine, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make one more package over here. Let's say package, and I'll name it as test cases. Test cases, anything you want, you can have that here. Then in the Python file, now I have to construct a file as well, right? I have to make a module as well. This module name should also be prefixed with test. If it is not prefixed with test, then it may give you an error. It may not pick up the test case. So I'll name it as test first. Let's say test first. And inside this, I have to make, let's say, a class test demo, and inside that a function which is actually a test case, so it will be test underscore demo. Inside it I'm just having a simple print statement, first test case. Right, now the structure looks like a normal class structure, a class, then there is function. You can make more of the test cases as well. Now what's the difference between the structure of a class and structure of a test class? When we used to run the simple classes, I had to make an object. Remember, I have to make an object of this class, then only I will be able to call this function which is ahead. I don't need to do this now. I do not need to do this now. It will be automatically picking up the test case itself. How? By the convections. The convection is the only reason it's going to pick up the test case automatically. Wherever it's lying, even if it's not in a package, even if it's in day 1 package, if it is in day 2 package, it will look in the whole project where the test is prefixed in front of the module name. That's it's going to do, and it's going to run only those test cases when you are running the PyTest framework. Right. What prerequisites I need to do over here now? I'm using an external package which is PyTest. So to run that external package, I have to add it into the PyCharm IDE as well. So I'll go to file over here, the settings, and in here I will add my Allure, no, PyTest. Right, I'll click on install. It will install the package in here in the IDE as well. It it's installed, so I can close this window. After that, after once this package is installed, I'll go to tools. In the tools also I need to make some change in the Python integrated tools. Over here you can see a number of options are coming up over here, like packaging, pippin, and like that. Here is an option of testing. Now in PyCharm, by default the test runner is unit test, which is another framework to run the test cases. But we are going to use PyTest because it has less complexity to understand, plus it's easy to understand as compared to unit test. Right, so we are going to change it from unit test to PyTest. Once it's done, I'll click apply and I'll click on OK. Done, we are good to go. I'll just will save this file and I'll run this. Now when I have to run this, you can see I have got an option run PyTest in the name of the module. It itself has picked up that it's going to run through PyTest. I have not done anything. It's automatically being picked up. So I'll click on run, and below here you will see the output of a test case being running. First of all, it will tell you that where actually the test case is lying, what's the root directory. Then secondly, it will tell you that how many test cases were collected. After that, from which module, which class, which test case is running. Because it's a possibility that in the same class I may have more of the test cases. Right. So it's going to give me that detail as well. Along with that, it's having a print statement inside, which is coming over here, like after this result. Why is it so? Because by default, the print statements, these are called the standard outputs. They are not displayed in here only on the console. I have to add a marker in the configuration so that I can see this print statement in here in the test case result. Not after the result, in here in the result. So what I can do is, we have a configuration being made here automatically. I just need to click over here and click on edit configuration. So I will get a window like this. Right, I previously have also shown you that in Python what kind of window I get. In PyTest I get this kind of window, in which I get the options like keywords, parameters, additional environment and all and all. Where I have to change, I have to add a marker in here in the additional arguments. I will add -s. This -s marker is going to help me to display the standard outputs on the console. So I'll click on apply, OK, done. Now I'll save this and I'll rerun this. Now you can see how the output has changed. Now this time, whatsoever was inside this test case, the standard outputs, they are coming up over here, and then I am getting the result that whether the test case was passed or it was failed. Right. Any questions, any doubts over this? Yes. Yes. But I didn't get your question. What actually you wanted to know? Yeah. Without installation, how will we be able to run the test cases? If you'll not add PyTest in PyCharm window, it will be considering it as a unit test case. Right. Now for unit test case, it's not enough to run it like this. You have to add few more lines at the end that if it's the main module, then do this thing and all. There are few more things that you need to add in unit test. So if you, that are not added, then it's automatically going to fail your test case every time you'll run it. Right, so you will be requiring this to add into the PyCharm IDE as well, so that it can run with the ease. Okay. Any another question? Okay. Yes, it's not kind of. It's, I believe it's easier than JUnit, because in JUnit there are few more steps that you do. I'm actually not that aware, but it's not that similar. It's kind of different from it, I believe. No, 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 no. It's a one-time process. Whenever you are using any external package, you just one time needs to add it in the IDE, and it's going to be continued for rest of the project that you are making. You need not to do it again and again. Okay. Like we have done Selenium. We have added Selenium once only, right? After that, I have not added Selenium that way. Okay? Yeah. Any other thing? Okay. Now, moving further, this is only one test case that I'm. Yeah, sure. Go for it. Yes, 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 exactly. Just the convections, the three convections I have told you, those needs to be followed for pi test. Okay? Yeah, it's kind of grammar, you can say, the format or anything word you can use. Okay? Yeah. So now, right now I only have one test case in my class test, right? I can make more of the test case here as well. I can say def test 1. Let's say these are demo functions, so I can name it anything. They are not need to be given some precise names. Later on you can give some related names. I'll say uh, another test case, another test case. Right, now if I'll save this and I'll run this as well, I'll save this and I'll run this. So I get the output over here as collected 2 items, and both the results are coming up over here. Now it's a, you can say it's a special feature that is available in PyCharm, that if there are there are more of the test cases in a single test class, from here only, from this IDE only, you can choose if you only want to run one of the test case out of all, you can run that as well. There you can see these options only in front of the test cases. These are the option if you only want to run that only test case. If I want to run only test one test case, then I can click over here. I can just go on and I can click over here. So it will make another configuration for me. You can see it just passed that test case. The another one did not run. That is also a feature in PyCharm. If you want to do it sometime, you can just go on. Just the configuration will change over here, like this one. This way the configuration will become for the module name, the test class test, and the name of the test case that you have run. But if you are doing so, you need to update the configuration as well. That was for the whole module. You need to update the configuration here as well. Right. Now I'm not interested in doing so, so I can just go on and delete this configuration. Press delete and it will be deleted. Okay, it's done. I'll click on OK and close. Fine. Now I can make more of the test cases here as well. I can just say uh, test second module, and in here as well, in here now I'm not making some class, I'm directly making the test case. I'm not making class, directly test case, and I'll name it as test, um, let's say demo2, and in here again a print statement stating demo2, like this. Now if I have to run this, I'll save this and I'll run this. The same configuration ran, so I have to create the configuration, click on here, and this time it ran the different test case, making a different configuration. Right. Suppose anytime you forgot to follow the conventions, you just took on and you just made a normal Python file without following the convention and name it as test underscore. You forgot to prefix it. You just generally made it and you said it's a module, let's say third, let's say. And inside that you have a test case. Inside this module, you have the test case test underscore third in third test case, right? This way. Now if I try to run this, it passed it because this was the test case that I was running, this only test case. But now if I try to run the whole test cases, the whole package I want to execute now, the test cases package, and as many as test cases are there, they all are going to be executed in serial order, right? And there is one module which is not named as per convention, and there is a test case inside. So let's see what happens, how many test cases we have till now. 2, 3 and 4, right? So I'll save this and I'll just will click on the package name and I'll say run pytest in test cases. So over here, how many items did it collected? It collected 3 test cases. From which files? From test demo file, test1 file, and then from the test second file. But the third module is not picked up. The third file is not picked up. I don't have this test case executed. Why is it so? Because the configuration is not followed. This is the need that you need to understand, that why is it necessary. Okay. Now this is how you can make multiple test cases, run the test cases as you want. It's fine. Now what I can do is I can run the same test cases from my command prompt as well. What I need to do is I need to first of all be at the location where my test cases are actually lying. They are in the test cases folder, right? So I need to go over here at this folder in the test cases, Control C, and in here I need to be at this location. So I'll say D. Now I am at this test case, I am at the location of my test cases. What I need to give the command to run all these test cases in batch. So there is a single word command to execute the test cases in serial order batch execution or in parallel order execution. That is pytest. That's it. This is the command. Right, if I press enter, you can see what it says. Collected 3 items and 3 are passed. But over here I am not getting those print statements. So to run them in batch as well, I need to add this marker over here -s, so that the standard output statements that I have added in the test case, that could be displayed over here as well, right? So if I press enter now, I get this. I get the print statements as well and the result as well. This way my test cases are running over here, right? Somewhere we get the need of running them in batch. In group I also need to run the test cases. So for grouping the test case, it's not that complicated. You just need to do few things, like you just need to go on and you need to update your test cases over here with a decorator or a annotation, and that annotation is from the package pytest. Now package is now till time we have not used pytest anywhere in the code. Now we are going to start with it. So I'll import pytest. Here it came. Right. Now I need to run them in group. So what I'll say is @pytest dot mark dot, I'm making a group, so what I can do is I can just give the name of the group that I want to give. Let's say I want to name it as group 1. It's not the concise name, but you can give this name. Right. And there is another group. There is another group which is group 2. Right. Now there are two different groups which I have made. Whichsoever test cases I want to fall under the group 1, I have to add this annotation above that test case. Let's say I want to add this annotation on my second test case, which is here in the second module. I need to add it here. I need to import it, so I'll get it imported. Okay, and there is another test case which I'll make over here, and I'll name it as test another print another demo too. And this only test case I want to fall under the second group, which is group 2. Right. I'll save this. There are two groups. Now how to run these test cases in group. So you just need to go over here. The command is same, pytest -s to see the print statements here as well. Now I need to add few marker, one more marker I need to add to define which group I want to run. This is not possible through the PyCharm IDE. There it's not possible to run them in groups. So that's why we need to take the help of the command prompt. Here I'll say the marker is -m to define the group, and in the brackets I'll give the group name. Group 1, let's say I want to run. Right. Now it's up to you whether you want to run the test cases in group from a particular test module or you want to run them throughout the package. It's up to you. If you want to run it from a particular module, then you can just go on and give the name over here this way, test underscore first dot py. Full name you have to give with the extension. So I'll press enter. It gives me some kind of warnings because the annotation that we have used, that is not the up to mark annotation, but what actually it is that sorry, the correct one, the correct annotation which is up to date has not been updated yet, so that's why we are using the previous one only. So that's why it's giving me this kind of warning. You can ignore this warning, it's not going to affect the output of your program. It's just that you can see over here it has collected two items. Two items are got collected from the test underscore fist module. In that we have two test cases over here. Two test cases, one in group 1 and one in group 2. Which group I am running? Group 1. So this is the test case which actually got executed here. First test case, and one of the test cases got deselected. That did not run. And over here in the output also what I get is one passed, one deselected. Right, this way. If you want, you can ignore this warning. There are another markers to hide this warning as well, but I'm not going into that right now because it's not going to affect our execution, so I'll let this be here. Now this was when I have to run the test cases in group from a particular module. Suppose I don't want to run this test case from module, from the whole package I want to execute it. But this time I don't want to run this group 1. I want to run another groups but not group 1. So I'll add not this. Right. So I'll press enter. What I get is 2 passed, 2 deselected. Overall 4 test cases are there in the package. 2 of the test cases have the annotation of group 2. So that are being running over here. Like this. Okay, so this way you can run the test cases in group as well. Also, If you want to run the test cases, a specific test case from a particular module you want to run, so what you can do is another markers -k. Now from this module, let's say from test first, I want to run this test 1 only. Here in PyCharm window, I have this option to run, right? But if I have to do it from command prompt, then how I will be able to do it? So -k is the marker to specify it. Then I have to inform the test case name I want to run. Let's say I want to run test 1, and in which module it's lying in the test py. So it's giving the warning because of the annotation, but you can see over here it collected 2 items out of this whole module, but it ran only the test 1 over here. Out of both of the test cases, test 1 only ran, like this. Okay, any questions, any doubts over the annotations that we have used so far? Both at the same time? Then if your test cases all are grouped in group 1 and group 2, then you can just give this command pytest. All the test cases will be run, and if you want to run it both here, so that's not possible. I have tried it, but that's not possible. But let's try it again. Maybe it has been updated. So it is not giving up. Let's try it in. That's not allowed to run both of the group at the same time. It's not allowed. Yeah. Any another? I told it earlier that from the IDE it's not possible to run the test cases in group. Yeah. Any another? Oh, then we'll move further. Now, this was about running the test cases in different ways. That's up to your dependency that how actually you want to run the test cases. But generally, we don't do any such things like specifying some test cases to be run or something like that. If we even have to do that, in the IDE only I have that option, so I won't go to the command prompts. Right, but still sometimes it comes, so that is what we had to be done. We have covered it. Now after this, now talking about some of the keywords that are going to be useful, along with one more annotation. One more annotation we are going to discuss now, and that is to parameterize the test case. Right, so let's say I'll make one more Python file and I'll name it as test underscore uh, let's say parameterize only. Right, now here I'm going to make a simple function first. Def add okay, a simple function of addition of two different arguments a and b, and the output will be returned to me. Right, now I have a test case that I'm going to make, and I'll name it as test underscore add 1. In here what I want to do is I want to call this add function with different parameters. So I'll say add, and I'll pass the parameter as 6 comma 9, let's say. Right, now the output of addition of both these will be 15. Right, so what I can do is right now I am like I know the output, but I want to check whether it's correct or not. If I get the expected result, I am expecting it to come as let's say 15 only, and the real one is also 15. The actual output is also going to be 15 for the addition. So I can say I'll put it into a variable. Let's say output is equals to this, and then I have a keyword to check whether the actual result which is going to come from the test case and the result that I am expecting, if both are equal or not. If it is equal, then my test case is going to pass automatically. But in any case it is not equal, then I'm going to get an error over here, and and my test case is going to fail directly, giving me an assertion error. This is to compare the actual and expected result. This is very useful when we are working with the test cases and we have to uh, we have to make the validation functions. At that time this assert keyword is useful. Now let's say this is my output, which will come as the real assert output is equals to 15. Right. Now if I save this and I run this, the test case passed. Right. Now suppose I have given some unexpected result. Let's say I say the output of these two will come as 16. Then what will happen? It's a wrong thing, right? It's not equal to each other. So I'll save this and I'll run this. This time my test case has failed. Why is it failed? This is the actual output, 15. What I am expecting, 16. It's the difference, it's not equal to each other. So using this assert keyword, I made the test case fail over here, and I got an assertion error. Right now it may not make any sense to you that why I'm covering it over here, but by the time we move on and we start working with the PyTest and Selenium code, at that time you will feel the importance of it. But this is a very important keyword which is to be covered. Okay, now using this assert keyword only, I will be making more of the test cases over here. I'll just will copy the test case from here. I have made 4 test cases. I'll just will rename them and I'll change the parameters. Let's say this is test 3. Let's save this. Now I have 4 different test cases having 4 different data sets, 4 different parameters, right? So output what I have got is I am expecting it to be 4 test cases collected. Okay, it did not collect it. Let me just run it from my project explorer. Yeah, now it collected 4 items, and one of the test cases failed over here. 2 of the test cases failed. Another one is also having an issue. I get 2 passed and 2 failed. Right, this is because of the test assert keyword I'm getting the output. But suppose I have a test case in which I have 50 parameters to be passed, 50 different data sets to be passed. So will I be making it this way, like just by having the same name and changing the number to it and passing the arguments like this? No, I'm not going to do it this way, because it's going to use a lot of memory as well, plus it will be a repetition, because nothing is being changed over here except for the name of the test case and the parameter. Nothing is being changed, right? So what can I actually do over here? I can parameterize the test case by different data sets. Except of doing this again and again, I can just pass on one annotation in which I will send all my data sets that I want to execute. Right. So how to do it? I'll make a different function, different test case, and I'll name it as def calculate. What this function is going to do? It's going to actually do the same thing. Right. But now I'm not going to pass the parameter like this over here. I'll pass A and B over here only, like this. Right. Now these two are coming up over here. These needs to be passed to the test case as well, A comma B. Now annotation needs to be given over here. So we have seen actually how the annotation comes at the rate pi test. Let me import this dot mark dot parameterize. Right. Now to this annotation, two things needs to be passed. One is the dataset itself, the dataset we are going to pass, that will be passed. And second is the parameter which is actually going to hold all the parameters that needs to be passed to this test case. A and B needs to be passed, right? These are the test cases, these are the variables I need to pass. So I'll say over here A comma B needs to be passed. Along with that, I will also send one more variable which is the expected result. So I'll send one more over here, result. Right. Then I need to pass the data set. Now talking about the data set, I'll give over here in the form of a tuple. I will be sending it, and inside it I will be having data set. What data set I need to send? Let's say this only, 6 9, which is the correct one. Then I have different data set. Let's say this is 8 comma 5, which is equals to 13. Then I have another data set which is 1 plus 9, 10. Three data sets I have passed, right? And in here at last I will have the assert keyword to check assert output is equals to result. Now I need to pass the result here as well, so I'll say comma result, this way. Okay, three different data sets but one only test case that I'm going to use, and for the time I'm going to comment all the another test cases from here. I'll save this and I'll rerun it. So what I get is 3 passed because all my data sets are having the correct values, like this. You saw the difference between the normal test cases we made and how we parameterize the test case. Got that point? Okay. In any case, any of the data set is throwing me an error. Any of the data set. Then it's nothing to be worried. The full information is given to us that which data set gave me the error, what is the error, and where it actually happened. I have made one data set to be coming up as incorrect one, so I'll save this and I'll run this. This data set is the data set which is failing. Why is it failing? The result is coming up over here, and at which line the error is coming, that is coming up over here, and rest is all done like this, and I get the output as 1 pass, 2 failed. Okay, clear? Clear this point? Okay. Now, this was about parameterizing the test case and all and grouping and all. Now these are the test cases. I at the end may be requiring it to generate some reports. Right, the reports are also very important. So what I can do is I can generate the reports as well, but for that I need to follow a structure. To generate the reports, I will be using a package allure-pytest, or you can say only Allure framework. It's a framework just to generate the report. Now by this Allure framework, the reports that are generated are of XML type, And XML type of reports are not understandable. They are in the form of coded language, which is not that clear to me. So what I need to do is I need to convert it into the HTML reports. So to convert it into HTML reports, I will be using the Allure command line. Right. Two steps are required over here, but you don't have to actually give any command to generate the report through Allure. You don't need to do anything over here. Just you need to provide the location where you want to generate the report. This requires a step. I'll tell you which step it requires. So talking about the Allure framework first, I need to get this into my system, this Allure framework, right? So to get the Allure framework, the command line you need to use, you just need to go to your command prompt, and using the pip manager only, you will say pip install Allure pytest. So it will start collecting all the requirements and dependencies and will get your package installed in your system. Likewise, you will get it. Right. Now this is done. You need not to do anything over here now. You just need to choose a location in your system where you want to generate all these reports. In my system, I have kept it in D drive over here in the reports folder. This folder is empty right now. So what I'll do is I'll just will save this. Okay, just need to get the path of this. Control C. And in here, in the annotation, in the configuration, I have to edit it. In the additional arguments, I want to see the standard outputs if there is any -s. Then I have to give some of the markers like -capture. This is to capture the standard outputs that you give, the standard errors that you give, that all it's going to capture. Now in reports, if we get the standard outputs as well, it does not look nice. So we won't be capturing the standard outputs. So I'll keep it as no only, that don't capture the standard outputs. And then after, using the marker Allure dir, that is Allure directory, where you want to generate the reports, the XML reports, you need to pass the path over here like this. These three annotations you need to pass. I'll also send this in the chat so you can just have it as well. So I'll just will send it here. Okay, once it's done, click on apply and OK. My test case is ready, my report generation commands are ready. I'll save it and I'll run it. What do I get? An error. Why do I have got this error? Can anyone tell that why do I have got this error? Any idea? That's not because of the argument. I'll run this and still I'm getting the error. No one? Okay. Why is it so? Because we have just installed an external package and I'm taking the use of that external package in the configuration. And that external package is still not into my IDE. I have not added it in here. From file settings, it's not here yet. I have to add it here as well. So I'll say Allure pytest. I'll click on install package. It will get it installed. Done. Close and OK. Now if I run this, I get the standard output that I was getting previously, stating 1 failed, 2 passed, like this way. Now if I take a look at my reports folder, these are the reports that just got generated. Now if I open this, this is the kind of information I get. Name, test, calculate, like this. Right. Now it's a small test case that I have run. Just a small test case. But by the time we are automating the test case, this file is going to be populated a lot, and it's going to look like this only, in which you will be looking like what happened, what is going on, where it's wrong. Right? It's not that understandable. Right? So just to make it understandable, we convert these reports into HTML reports. That too by the help of Allure command line. Now Allure command line is not by default into your system, so you have to get it downloaded first. So you'll just will go over here on your favorite browser and look for download Allure, and the official website is docs.commenter.io. Click on it, and in here you will get this kind of page. Just look at the left hand side, you will get an option of installing a command line. I don't need anything, I just need a command line. So according to your operating systems also the command is given up over here, but I'm not going to go according to the operating system. I'm just going to take an manual installation part over here, so that in any case I have to send it to someone as well, I can send the directory simply. Right? So I'll go to this Maven Central link. It's giving me an error because I need to add the security thing in front, and now I get this kind of link, this kind of page I get. Now you can download any of the command line. There's nothing different in the versions that are given over here, nothing different. You can get the recent as well, like 2.13.7 is the recent version that I can see. You can even also get 2.1.0. That's also not going to affect anything. Right? Just need to click on any of the links over here. You will get a zip file. You need to extract that zip file wherever you want. It's not compulsory to extract it in the C drive. You can keep it in D drive as well, like I have kept it here in my D drive. What you need to do it now after extraction, you just need to put on this path till bin. This path you need to pick up wheresoever you have extracted the file. Till bin folder you have to add in the environment variables. Go into the environment variables, and in the path variable where we have added the drivers, remember, they're only in the path variables. Okay, it didn't came. Let me just edit. Yeah, over here you need to just add it like I have done over here. You have to add it this way till bin folder. Okay, once it's done, click on OK, OK and OK. 3 of the OKs, click on OK, and you are good to go ahead. The command line is in place. Command line is in place. Now you just need to convert the XML reports to HTML reports. How to do that? You need to do it from the PowerShell window. Right? If you are having a Windows system, then you can open it in 3 different ways. First of all, you can go over to the start menu and look for PowerShell. So this is the PowerShell window that you will get here. Secondly, you can use the command prompt as well. Over here you just need to say PowerShell. It will take you to the PowerShell prompt. This is a PowerShell prompt. This PS, this is the notification, this is the identification that you are in the PowerShell window now. Right? This also you can do, or you can just directly go to the location where your XML reports are generated. Now where are my XML reports generated? In the reports folder. I have to go back to the parent folder, not here in this folder, to the parent folder here. Right? Just need to click shift right click. You will get an option of opening PowerShell window here. So you need not to change the path now. You just are directly at this path. If you open it from the another sources that I have to tell you, then you have to come at this path, and then you can run this. Right? You have to give the command allure serve the name of the folder in which the XML reports are generated. In my case it's reports, in your case it could differ as well. So just give that name, press enter. Right. Once you press enter, it will start generating the reports, the XML reports that I've just shown you. They're going to be converted into HTML reports, and this kind of page you are going to get. Now it's a very user friendly page, very user interactive page. You can see how easy it's looking like. When the test cases were run, what's the time it has taken, that is coming up over here. How many test cases were run, that also is coming. What's the percentile of the test cases running, that's coming. And when I have to see the details, I'll go to this show all or suits or anything, anywhere you can go. And here is the test case. It's the module name that's coming up over here. And inside that module, the test cases that you have run. We have run 3 different test cases with 3 different data sets. So that data is coming up over here. These were the variables, and what happened? It passed the test case. This was the variable, it failed the test cases because of this reason. Likewise, now this is more understandable than the XML report, right? So this is how we generate the reports and we convert the reports. Any questions, any doubts over this? Then you can let me know. Any questions or no questions? Okay, then I